Hi guys, Office Bloke Dave here. I hope everyone out there is doing great today. I'm recording solo. Me and Ash had a weekend together where we were going to get loads of recording done, and she's been ill. She's not been well all weekend, so we decided to chill instead, and she is on the mend. She's coming around tonight. We're going to film some more together, don't worry. But yeah, it was more important for her to have a little bit of time off and just chill out and get herself feeling better. But anyway, we're going to do Dax doing a remix of Richmond, North of Richmond. And I like it, Richmond, North of Richmond. I like Oliver Anthony. I listened to him on Rogan. I think he was sort of well spoken and had his opinions thought about, and I don't think he's particularly controversial, really. I just think he's been co-opted and people are speaking on behalf of him quite a lot to use, for their own political talking points and stuff. But he said that he's very much centrist when it comes to most things, which I think most sort of reasonable people are, and then you kind of pick and choose issues that you move about. But I'm not a political pundit. I'm not getting into all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think it's a tune, and I think he deserves his success. And it's been interesting reading the comments about he's an industry plant and he's not really a working class man, he's actually rich and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, a lot of jealousy out there, I think. Anyway, Dax has done a remix of it. It just popped up in my feed, and I thought it's got to be worth a look. So we'll check it out. It's Dax, Oliver Anthony, Richmond, North of Richmond. Let's go for it.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is, living in the new world with an whole soul. The Richmond, North of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
This world has changed and I had to accept it. They ask my political views while I search for their hidden agendas. I don't got an answer, I try to remember the devil divides. Pressure appears from our peers. Those arguments waste our time while helping to push their lies, so fuck political views. I got common sense. I know God made man, and the sun sets on a life where we focus on things that we cannot control and accumulate so much regret. By the time we decide to live, we're practically already dead. So I go to sleep with the thoughts of 45 years living in debt, 45 years can't pay rent, 45 years just for a pension. I'm too old to enjoy and go spend 45 years working and slaving for rich men with no time for my family and friends. Then I wake up and pray that it ends.
You know what? I saw a post, I think it may have been from Upchurch, about doing a remix of this, saying that he'll let the song speak for itself and not jump on the bandwagon, so to speak. And I don't know if it was a dig about this song, but I think Dax is doing it justice here. I think he's saying the right things. And the line of working 45 years just to get a pension, I've been working since I was like young, like most people have, and like most people, it's normal. I will be fully paid up on my pension, state pension that we get in the UK. I don't know how it works in the US, but we have a state pension, and then we have private pensions we pay into, and then you get all of it when you retire. But I'll be fully paid up for my state pension in about 10 years and I'll be like mid to late 40s. But I've got to pay into it for another 20 years before I'm entitled to take it. And it's like, when you actually look at it, it's sickening. And I know that's how it works, but yeah, I kind of get it. I think when it comes to pensions, student debt as well, I think is a bit of a sad one, especially in the States, because you can't write it off after a certain amount of time, and it's so expensive. I do think there's an agenda to have you living in debt. Not to be conspiratorial and stuff, but I do think there is.
We already dead, so I go to sleep with the thoughts of 45 years living in debt, 45 years can't pay rent, 45 years just for a pension. I'm too old to enjoy and go spend 45 years working and slaving for rich men with no time for my family and friends. Then I wake up and pray that it ends.
Living in the new world with an whole soul. The rich man north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
descendants of Adam and Eve. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're taking God out the schools. Our kids don't know what to believe. From 6 to 18, the curriculum fails, and Gen Z gets taught by their phones with forced feeds that get sponsored and paid by companies. That's how they attack us. It starts with the youth. If you lie enough, you'll convince anybody the lie's the truth. So telling these kids they can choose their own gender at ages they can't even tie their own shoes. Drive or drink is crazy. Common sense isn't common unless it pays me. That's the thought process daily. Look at the content we're creating, lies diluting our brains. I'm done trying to argue online with these people who think that a vote's gonna bring about change. How many presidents does it take to have a life worth living? An actual comfortable wage. No more school shootings. Let's unite these states.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me.
Nice. I'm just going to go back a little bit. There was a line in there, but because it's early in the morning, it went by the wayside.
Choose, drive or drink is crazy. Common sense isn't common unless it pays me. That's the thought process daily. Look at the content we're creating, lies diluting our brains. I'm done trying to argue online with these people who think that a vote's gonna bring about change. How many presidents does it take?
It's that line. They think a vote's going to make a change. How many presidents does it take? I ranted about this over a few too many beers on Sunday. You know, we've got a issue in this country where our government's been in for 12 years and everything seems to have just fallen apart. And I'm politically neutral, but I sort of think you've got to pick the best person at the right time, sort of thing, based on policies and all that sort of stuff. But I'm nowhere near an expert in any of this sort of stuff. And one of the people we were discussing it with was saying, but because it's basically a two-party system in the UK like it is in the States, is saying, but if you vote in that other party, it's going to be an absolute disaster, and think how much worse it could be. And it's like, we've had 12 years of it being an absolute fucking disaster with this one, you know. And like, it does seem like the vote is just wasted, so you're just going to vote in someone else who's going to play all the same games. They're just going to siphon money off, and the level of corruption is exactly the same, but they just pretend it's under a different sort of veil. I think that's how politics works in the West at the moment. Definitely over here, and it does seem like it works like that in the States as well. Regardless of which side you vote for and who's in power, they just exploit all the loopholes, and it's normal people that suffer. Well, they'll just get richer and richer, insider trading and all that sort of stuff. I could go on about it. Like, I'm not a political person, but recently I've been getting so fucking wound up by it and ranting about it more and more. I don't like it. I want to stay out of it.
To have a life worth living, an actual comfortable wage. No more school shootings. Let's unite these states.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
I like that. I think he did it justice, to be honest. I think you've got to be careful taking someone else's song and then inserting political beliefs or ideologies into it. But I don't think anything he said there was particularly crazy, if I'm being honest. But I do know that Oliver Anthony's talked about people using his song for their own political gains. I don't think that's what Dax has done. I'm just having a quick look at the comment section, see what the consensus is. It seems people are into that. Yeah, I thought it was good. I think he did it justice. I really do. Nothing too crazy. Seems pretty reasonable, a lot of the things he's saying. And I do think the idea that whoever you vote in, it's just going to be the same. Unfortunately, it seems to be the consensus over there as well as it is here. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm no political pundit. I'm no I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, unless you had multiple political parties that are all vying for the top. But then if they all spread the votes across them all, who's going to get in power? And then it all ends up being coalitions like it was over here at one point. where you get small parties bolstering big parties just so they can get in. I don't know, it's a mess. It's a fucking mess, who knows. I think he did have a line in there about everyone just coming together though, which I think if we can transcend the politics and everyone just be nice to each other and everyone get on again, I think the world will be a better place, regardless of what country you're from or your political leanings. But anyway, that's just what I think. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments section. Did Dax do it justice? Are you sick of the Oliver Anthony song by now anyway? Believe it or not, it's actually in the charts over here in the UK. It was number 26 in the Billboard charts last week. And I think it was the week before as well, which is crazy. But yeah, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all soon. Cheers, guys.